Hey everyone. That's my assistant who's here and she's doing the audio. So sorry about that. Woo. Anyway, hi everyone. I am Deal Walker. I am a natural foot and ankle correction specialist. I have a background where my training is in cardiac rehab, fitness, exercise science, physical therapy, and manual physical therapy. So I have quite an extensive background, and for the last 10 years, I have been specializing in foot and ankle. So those of you who don't know me, that's just a little bit about me. And with the last few years, I've been posting on this channel on YouTube a lot of things about foot and ankle. And now I'm starting to teach the information that in the past I taught to professionals to individuals to empower them to take control of their health and healing. Because nowadays, access to doctors might not be ideal, and there are a lot of complications or medical errors. I just looked up that number, and it seems that they account for the third largest cause of death in the United States, and it's estimated that 250 million people will die as a result of medical errors. So the idea here is to keep you happy, healthy, and empowered to take control of your health and healing. And today we're doing that in a live masterclass that I'm going to preview right now. And it's taping of the lower leg and thigh. And taping, if you see behind me, yes, okay, if you see behind me, I have the Foot Freedom Formula. And the second portion of the Foot Freedom Formula is realign. So last week we released, this week we're gonna realign. We did some realignment last week too, but this week it's gonna be mostly realignment and reinforcement, which I use taping. Some people use bracing or orthotics for realignment. And then reinforcement, which is activities or specialized exercises. So what happens is that these taping techniques for the lower leg that I'm going to cover tonight are going to be important for the following diagnoses or pains. So if you have any kind of knee pain, possibly even hip pain, foot pain, Achilles tendonitis, heel spurs, posterior tibial tendon dysfunction, if you have flat feet, those are going to be all areas that are going to be covered by tonight's lecture and masterclass. But today I wanted to demonstrate the taping of the posterior, the tibialis posterior muscle. And this taping technique is great for people who have posterior tibial tendon dysfunction or syndrome, which is, by the way, one of the more challenging things to treat on the spectrum of foot diagnoses. So the more joints that are covered, typically the more difficult a thing is to treat. And I think one of the reasons why that is the case, that happens with surgeries also. The more joints that are involved, the less successful the surgery. So again, the more joints that are involved, the less successful the rehab typically. And sadly, a lot of people wind up immobilized for months and physical therapy doesn't work. It's a long and involved problem. And what's interesting is I just read a research study that talked about that inflammation was not the major cause of pain in these individuals, that it was a little bit more central with regard to pain. So if you're taking anti-inflammatories and they're not helping, that's probably why. So I wanted to show you taping of the tibialis posterior muscle. And what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and show you a video that I shot this morning on how to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you have any questions, just please put them in the chat box for me. And you should be able to see the video on the screen. And here it is. And you should be able to see the video on the screen. And here it is. And you should be able to see the video on the screen. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I shared the wrong thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Bailey, it's not at the right time, and I don't know what's going on with the audio. Oh, sorry.
So I have a pretty prominent tibialis posterior. It's right here. That's actually the vein. There's my navicular. So I have a pretty prominent tibialis posterior. It's right here. That's actually the vein.
There's Lily's. Right here. You have to go to the big. Okay. This is Bailey. Hi. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, and that's why I have that tape ready to go right now in case we need to go ahead and do that. Just hit share. All right. Let's see.
And what I will do is come directly underneath the tops of the metatarsals, which are in line with the beginning of the arch of the foot. And we're just going to start in line with the fourth, right about here, and lay our kinesio tape at that point, and then start to bring it underneath. And once we hit the navicular, for those of you who have that dropped navicular because of flat-footedness, keep the foot in a rotated position and really kind of draw that navicular in an upward and backward position, pulling tight, and then laying underneath the, just inside and underneath the inside ankle bone. Bring the tape around the back of the thigh to about a length of 2 inches above, and then you should be in the middle of the back of the calf. And you're just going to go ahead and continue to unroll the tape up the back of the leg and deviating ever so slightly toward the outside portion of the calf. And then you're going to go ahead and pull ever so slightly to that line in between the top of the fibula and lay the tape. And then go ahead and rub it for 30 seconds. And that's how you tape the tibialis posterior.
Okay, so after those technical difficulties, gosh, going live and going on Zoom, it's kind of daunting. But with regard to that, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. One is the tape. In that video, I show kinesio tape. In the real world, I prefer something called dynamic tape. I don't get any money for tooting them, but I think it's a better quality of tape. Tends to last longer. It feels more comfortable. It does better with water than other kinds of tapes that are on the market. And it is also made from recycled plastic, so it is environmentally friendly as well. So with regard to taping, that is how you tape the tibialis posterior. And for those of you who have flat feet, what you can do is you can put a reinforcing piece of tape over that. So I continue to show that in the video, and I'll go ahead and let people see that. For those people, what you like to use is something called Leuco tape, okay? Or you can even use duct tape, which you might have at home. So you want to make this piece of tape about 4 inches long and about 1 inch wide. And then you can go ahead and use the tape that you just applied as a base, because you don't ever want to put this or duct tape on your skin. It is not hypoallergenic, okay? So let's take a look at taping that navicular bone.
For those of you who have a flat foot or a dropped navicular, you can then use this taping as a base for another piece of kinesio tape. So you're going to come underneath in line with the second toe and place that Leuco tape or stronger tape there, or a second piece of kinesio or dynamic tape. Go ahead and affix it to that area. This tape is going to be about at least 3 to 4 inches long, and then pull it taut to go ahead and really keep that navicular supported underneath.
So again, folks, that's how we go ahead and do realignment. And realignment or alignment, proper alignment, when your body is in proper alignment, kind of everything works ideally. And I say that alignment dictates function, frequency, and flow, because from function's standpoint, there's something called the length tension ratio that states that a muscle will contract with greatest strength or vigor when it's at a particular length. So if it's too long or too short, then it's not going to work properly. And I personally feel that alignment is probably the most, if not one of the most underrated aspects of healthcare in general. Because if you're not in the proper alignment, nothing is going to work properly. Digestion, respiration, circulation, neural pathways, again, alignment is everything. So with taping, what you can do is you can actually affix a piece of tape to a specific area versus having one device like an orthotic that addresses multiple areas at once. So you can be more specific, as well as stimulating a muscle, relaxing a muscle, or putting it in its proper position. So powerful, powerful piece of equipment to have with you. In fact, I always, whenever I travel, I take a roll of kinesio tape with me, because I never know what I might be doing to my body on vacation and will need it, or somebody that I'm with, invariably. So it's a good thing to keep in your suitcase as well. So I don't see any questions. Do you have any questions? No. So for those of you who want to take advantage of this opportunity, there is a registration or registration information in the description box, and also in the community box on the YouTube channel. So those of you who are watching this later on, you'll get to see the preview, hopefully edited a little bit. And I hope to go ahead and see you guys live tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for 1 hour on taping. So have a great day, and hope to see you later. Ciao.